Identity, it's how we know who we are. Although it seems simple, it actually isn't. In a tech world where zero-trust frameworks will soon become the norm, how will we be able to prove our identity? How do we know who we are? To answer those questions, we need to take a closer look at the history of identity. Our DNA is at the core of our identity. It contains the code that literally defines us, and there are more than 70 trillion possible combinations for it around the world. The earliest way humans could identify each other was purely by recognizing one another through appearance and vocal cues. The first chapter in the history of identity verification begins with self-identification. People identified themselves with jewelry, names, and tattoos. After names had become the primary form of identification around the globe, censuses and ID records came up. Fast forward a few hundred years, and now we're seeing the first passports and national IDs in use. After World War II, photographs became the norm, and a few decades later, the first database of fingerprints was used. The mid-1980s is where things get a little more high-tech, thanks to the use of smart cards and RSA key fobs. In the 1990s and early 2000s, phone numbers became another widely used form of identity verification. Around this time, banks introduced Know Your Customer or KYC and anti-money laundering policies. Fast forward to 2020, and now we see blockchain and identity providers come into play. 2022 saw the rise of passwordless security and zero-trust architectures. This meant to increase security by having third parties and multiple devices verify that a user is who they say they are. As we look into the future, we will see EIDAS used more and more. It stands for Electronic Identification and Trust Services, and these services either already are or will become federated, meaning that other countries will recognize each other's IDs and trust services. This makes for a much more globally unified approach to security. By the year 2030, we will see full biometric security implemented around the world. This harkens back to the days when people's individual DNA, their appearance and voice defined their identity. In the future, however, we'll have technology to scan your totally unique DNA and use it to verify that you are who you say you are. Identity is a simple concept on the surface. Verifying identity, on the other hand, is incredibly complex. Each iteration of identity verification came after continuous cycles of trial and error and involved the best available technology at the time. In the future, identifying yourself and others in digital environments will become more secure and more frictionless. It's taken centuries for identification to evolve to where it is today. But with biometrics and security innovations occurring every day, look forward to more amazing advancements in identification in the next 50 years.